Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna get it together
Get
right
it
here on the Next Level Nation podcast. And if you don't know, now you know. That's right, guys. You heard it. We changed the name up. It's over.
Completely.
Let it go. Let it go.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Let it go like we did. All right.
Exactly.
All right. We're getting out of the way. We're getting in the way. We're getting in that stream of social, things going on. So, but with all that said, Derek,
Yes.
introduce yourself, man.
So, the talented Mr. TTMT, talented Mr. Taylor.
And King D Money. We're here again, guys, bringing you another awesome interview.
Absolutely.
I thought, I'm the quarterback. I just, I got my wide receiver over here.
I caught it.
And we make it happen.
Exactly.
Make it happen, Doc.
So we are here with the great martial artist, Grandmaster of Taekwondo, as well as one of the youngest Grandmasters of martial arts with Junri martial arts, as well as a businessman, as well as a pastor, an entrepreneur, and amongst many, many things, a man of God who has written, and as well as an author. So he's written a book, 2 books actually, and he's going to explain basically those books. He's going to talk about himself. So Mr. Raul Baez.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having me here today. I'm really happy to be here. And I think this is going to be fantastic. Going to be a great day today, and I'm really enjoying it already with you guys. Getting ready with everything here. See Mr. Effort making his effort.
You know it. You know it. I gotta do it.
He's doing marvelous, right?
Yes.
Other things. And Mr. T, of course.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Taylor, as I know him.
Yes, as he knows me, for many, many years, been a very great mentor to me in martial arts and education as a principal, as an educational leader. We all have been in the educational field. Yes. He is still, King D Money is still in the educational field. We are both out of the field, but we still have lots of experience in being, I know you've been in the educational field for several years.
Oh, yes.
How long has that been?
Oh, my Lord, it's been probably more than 15 years.
Oh, wow.
More than 15 years. I'm still working on with the school, with Everest Charter School, as like the head of the school. I mean, I'm like the main supervisor. I'm doing all the back office, take care of all that is related with the business of the school to be sure that we have a strong structure and we have the money to do whatever we need to do.
Yes,
without money it's not possible.
Money makes the world move, right?
You need the money.
Let's fix some things.
Definitely. I mean, still into working education. I have a privilege to work with Mr. Taylor. He is a great musician at Everest a few years ago, and that's how we met each other.
Correct.
Having that old talents and putting all these shows and really put time on teaching the student, putting time on be sure that music and art is moving forward because children need music, children need art, children need to know not only about what is for the brain, but they need to know what is for their soul, what is good for them to grow and to be better citizen.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. So, Mr. Baez, I know you have 2 books. Tell us about the books that you have.
Well, the first book is The First Characteristic of God, and this book was written in 2022, and it's talking about the creative powers that we have.
Okay.
And that creative power coming from the Creator.
Of course.
The Creator can create, but because He creates, His creation has creativity.
Okay.
And in our main ideas on that book is to let people know about that you have a lot of potential, a lot of great things that you can do, and that was God who gave it to you. That your destiny is not only to be one thing in life, but it's to be multiple things in life. Because understand that God wants you to express yourself in different ways, not only in one way. That you don't die doing the same thing for many years, 40 years, 50 years, until you die. And that people are moving on to be more creative, to when people have the passion to write, to immediately take the opportunity and write. When God sent the inspiration from heaven, He sent it across the planet. But whoever will take action and have the discipline to write it and to make it happen, is the one who want to be the creation. Like, for example, when we did the airplane, the Wright brother was the one who came first, but we have other people behind them trying to create it. I mean, the idea of creating something to fly on the air was
not new.
it was not only for the Wright, it was for everybody. But not everybody take that opportunity to make possible whatever God put in their brain and in their heart. And that's why we need to understand that you need to push, you need to be dynamic, you need to be able to do things that God put in your heart and in your brain, and that you need to be persistent until you make it. Because if you're not persistent, you are not going to make it. But you need to have the discipline to make things happen. You need to be over and over until you make it, and it doesn't matter how many you need to try, you try it over and over, you try over and over until you make it happen. You cannot be discouraged. You need to be empowered to move forward, whatever that God put in you in your heart to do. And that's the idea. That's the creative powers that we have. That we need to let the world know that if we all develop our own creativity, the world will be different. Will be a lot of projects, innovation, big changes in all the areas, mathematics, science, cultural, and overall, we have more people probably be working on the road of the Lord, because then you put in practice whatever God tells you to do about it. That in this book, this is my first book. I never have in mind that I want to be writing a book. And less about God. It was not like, oh, I'm going to write a book about God, let me make an outline. Okay, this is what I'm going to write. And then that came by inspiration and revelation, whatever that I have for a couple of years. But it was about exactly God was leading me to write, and I wrote as He told me. And I said, well, I am the hand of the Lord. Whatever He told me is whatever I wrote. And that's exactly what is the book about. That's a book that was done in 2022.
Okay. You come from very humble beginnings in Puerto Rico.
Oh, yes.
And I mean, you've built a strong business, a strong life out of pretty much nothing based on what I know of you. Basically, you came from Puerto Rico. Tell us about how you started in Puerto Rico and how you came over here.
Well, in Puerto Rico, I started over there, and I went college, finished some study on science, did my bachelor in science. But at the same time, while I was doing my study, I was doing martial arts at that time. And martial art became the way to support my family. It was like a way of living. But at the same time, I got martial art because I get passionate for what I saw at that time, at the time of Bruce Lee and all that kind of movies. You remember those movies? Then at that time, I get fascinated with people flying, doing flying kicks and doing stuff like that. I was around 30 years old at that time. Then I started doing martial arts, started as a student, learned a few different martial arts style until I opened the studio. When I opened the studio, it took me a lot of trials, a lot of different schools because I couldn't make it. Until finally I was able to connect with Grandmaster Reed, and he gave me a direction how to do it right, and then we opened a big studio over there in Puerto Rico. We have over 300 students. Then we opened a gym, and we have a lot of very large membership. And we also did a magazine over there called Patadas Caribeñas, so Caribbean Kicks.
Yeah, I saw you also on TV. If you could look on YouTube, you're also on television for Puerto Rican channel for the news, demonstrating martial arts there.
Yes. We were very involved with TV, with the newspaper, and at the same time with many of our people. They were students. They were our students. But then we have a hurricane over there in Puerto Rico, and my brother was asking me to come here to the United States. And then after the hurricane, I get a little bit discouraged over there, and then I decided to come to United States, came to Florida. And in reality, I came with really nothing. And like I tell people, I was like, at that time I didn't have plan to do martial arts. No martial arts. I wanted just working as a regular employee, using my bachelor that I got. easy,
smooth.
but the destiny was different. Then I finished in doing martial art, and opened a studio here. Have a chance to bring Grandmaster Yuri to our school, and but when I initially came here, I didn't have really any money. I was able to rent an apartment, but I don't have even a place to sleep. I was living basically 6 months on the floor, until, because the little money that I have, I want to use it for the studio.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
But from there, I was able to graduate probably about maybe 50 to 75 black belt students here in Florida.
Wow. Nice.
And was a lot of effort.
Yes, it's a
Mr.
lot of work.
Effort, I think I'm your student.
Man. I got some questions about this, man.
Yeah.
I got some questions about this. This journey is something so interesting to me, and at this point in my life, I'm starting to divide things up. Like, how much was it passion against discipline to go back into teaching martial arts? Was it like, oh, I gotta go teach it, I have to teach the masters what I know? Or is it like, this was something God gave me to do it and I want to do well with it? Ask some questions I ask myself all the time. And I just want to know what do you weigh that against? Was it something you in your heart to do? Or was it something you just knew you could do?
Well, I would say something that I love it. At that time, I know I was guided by God, but I did not know God at that time.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
But the Bible said that He put His law in our heart. Even when you don't know God, God's still in your heart.
Okay.
And then His word dictate the way that you live. If you have a good heart,
Okay.
if you have a bad heart, you will ignore every rule that's coming from God.
Right.
But after that, then I was able to move into martial art. When I came here, I was evaluating what I'm gonna do. I knew martial art. I have a few friends that came from Puerto Rico and other places that they live here. They encouraged me to go start a new studio.
Okay.
Then was something I would say martial art was my thing. That was my sport. I didn't practice any other sport. Martial art was the only thing that called my attention.
Skateboarding.
Yeah.
Ping pong.
Yeah, kind of.
No, I'm sorry, but I play a little bit. I play.
No,
What caught your eye, man? What caught your attention? What other sport caught your attention?
Well, I did bow and arrow.
Oh,
okay.
And I did eskrima.
Eskrima? Oh yeah, eskrima.
I
Yeah.
did
I used to
eskrima.
be big in Miami. Is it almost like eskrima is as a sport, right? It has
Yes,
that
it's
other-
a sport.
What is eskrima? Oh, eskrima is also martial arts. It's basically like
They have
the
also
Filipino-
that, but the one that I did was the one that went to the Olympic game.
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
eskrima that you dress on white,
Uh-huh.
and then you do like a fencing.
Like
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Okay.
And then at that time, I'm talking about that time, I was able probably to go to the Olympic game to play doing eskrima.
Okay.
But I need to take a decision between martial art or eskrima.
Oh wow,
And do you know what I did?
martial arts.
Of course. And then I moved to martial art because I really love martial art. And that was my
it?
thing at that time, and did it for probably over 40 years.
Wow, it's a long time. Jun Reed
Yes.
also studied with Bruce Lee too at the same time.
No, Junri
taught Bruce Lee,
He
exactly.
taught Bruce Lee his
Yes,
famous,
his kicks, yeah.
sidekick.
Sidekick, exactly.
Sidekick,
So
yes.
yeah, he studied with. It's a funny thing because people always think that Dan and Santo was his student, but he was a student. Bruce Lee was a student of Dan and Santo.
Yes, but then he was doing like the arnis,
Arnis
with the
stuff.
sticks and
Correct.
stuff like that. It was
Yeah.
he took from different places. Remember that he built his own style.
True.
Yeah, from here and from there, he took whatever is best, and then he did his powerful, movement and kicks and all the other, development that you saw in him.
The thing about it, interesting you should say this, and what made you? I know why I decided to become a martial artist. I decided to become a martial artist because I wanted to get anger and aggression out of me. Why did you decide? And then eventually, when you get to a certain point, I think when you're a martial artist, you get to the point where you don't want to. It's not that you want to hurt people. You want to get out all the frustration that you have, or you have an outlet. It's almost like music, right? So you get that outlet out, and then at a certain point, you realize, okay, you have some level of skill, right? And then you get to another point where now you want to challenge other people with that skill. You know what I'm saying? You have a chip on your shoulder for a little bit.
Yes.
And then after a period of time, then you get to the point where you're settled. You don't have a chip on your shoulder because now you've mastered things so much that you're like, well, you know what? I don't want to hurt anybody anymore now. Now, and then you get to the point where I don't even want to fight anybody. I'm good. I don't want to get anybody hurt by doing a certain amount of things. So now you get to the settled point where now you're not angry anymore. Now you're just you're at skill level, and you just hopefully you don't have to use it on somebody. So what initially inspired you to do it?
For me, it was more emotional, more the passion of the time. My friends, many of them were like on my school. They were doing martial arts, and a few couple masters from those time and grandmasters, and then we all get like kind of on the martial art field, and then move on to the martial art, and until I get enrolled in the martial art school. And so I told my mom I want to enroll in the martial art school and I need to pay $30, but she said I don't have $30. I barely have money to pay for the food.
Exactly.
And then what I did was I go work to pay for my dreams.
Okay.
And we start paying for my classes, for my uniform, for my tests, for everything until I became martial art. And when I became black belt, then I was able to tell Mom, you don't need to work no more.
Okay, nice.
I will pay for everything.
Yeah.
And then I retired my mother.
Oh, wow.
So you're not working no more. I will take care. Because we need to honor our parents. I mean, that's what the Lord said to us. We need to honor our parents. And every person that young or adult, we always need to watch it for our parents because this is the only way that we can be prosperous.
Okay.
And sometimes we forget about our parents and we need to keep them in mind. At that time, I was able to work and support my mom, my brothers and sisters, and also my grandparents that live also in the house. And meaning whatever that at that time my mom didn't have money, it was an investment that I did, but then when I was able to get to a level, then I was able to help.
Okay.
And that to honor. Yes, to honor the parents. And I think that's what is important about life. It's about to honor God first, honor your parents, honor your teachers, and you need to honor also your country.
Okay,
that is very important. You cannot just getting on the small scale.
Yeah,
you need to look bigger scale.
I never asked you this because I never heard you talk about it, but I know you talk about. I saw your mom taking care of her. I never heard anything. Did you have any relationship with your father or anything like that, or a male figure?
No, not really. That's a good question. Well, my father died when I was in college. He was 44.
Oh wow, so young.
He died very early. Meaning, it's interesting about that you mentioning asking about if I have a male figure. I think at that time I didn't have one male figure.
Oh, wow.
What it came to my mind was to looking on the males and look the characteristics that make them successful.
Right.
And copy from those people. If they're humble, I want to be humble because I saw how that humble man was able to conquer, right? The life. I see people that spread love, then I like how this guy. I even how smile.
Yeah.
I get it from different people. I get it from different role models, not only from my martial art mentor, but also for many males around that I will learn from. And sometimes, we were like a single. My mother was, raising 6 kids. Single mother raising six children.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And then, but not model. No, I don't have anyone who looked at it. You need to get something on it. But interesting thing also is that I never felt that I missed my father.
Interesting.
And the good thing is that I God provided that fatherhood for me.
Figure for you.
Yeah.
That father figure was God. When I discovered that after I went more in relation and intimacy with God, I say, oh God, you were there all the time. And that's why I never felt that I was like, I don't have my father around me, but you were there. You were feeling all the whole of the father figure in my heart. And that was the great thing. I mean, that me and also my wife was on the same situation. My wife is a Pastor Carmen.
Okay.
And she had the same
Pastor
thing.
Carmen. She's in the
Pastor
corner.
Carmen.
She had the same situation. She didn't have any dad at home, but she did it. She also, God was, and we discovered that later on. I mean, after we get more intimacy with God, that He was there for her, and at the same time it was for me. And that's what we need to always say thank you to the Lord, because He knows each one of us, and He knows exactly what is that we need.
Correct.
To be able that we are settled for the kingdom.
Because I've always seen you as in this father figure mentor for myself, and I always thought to myself that thinking like in the past, I was like, Mr. Baez always seemed to be very whole and very father-like. So it has to be, there must be somebody in your life, but it also, the fact that you also have brothers and sisters. So you're the oldest, right?
No.
You're not the oldest? I thought you were the oldest. Oh, I didn't know you're not the oldest.
No. 3 olders and 2 youngers than me.
So I know Diego was also
younger,
and then you also have
Luis is also younger.
Okay, so then looking up to the brothers that you had, were they people you looked up to because did that help a little bit or no? Or they were just kind of like,
I was a figure of the father figure for them. I mean, they have that opportunity to have somebody who was like ruling life in the right way, teaching them. They were also my students, and and they all of them achieved their black belts. My 2 younger brothers, my older sister, and I was that figure for them. I mean, that figure that was there, that was always like constant, that push them to values, push them to study, push them to do the right thing. I mean, they have that privilege. I don't know if they in any way they evaluate it or see it, but I know I was there all the time for them. I mean, they don't have that kind of, even if maybe they're missing their eternal father. But but I was there.
You were there for them.
You have somebody to look at it. Like, hey,
was it? Because I did notice that. I know that you also molded them and guided them. So was it something that you feel was thrust on you as your responsibility? So you didn't really have time to be thinking about worrying about it. It's almost like when you have a family, a big family, and you have siblings, you don't really have time to try to worry about your own feelings. You have to try to be strong for them.
Yes.
So probably you being in the father figure mode for them, you really had to be, not want to say forced, but you kind of took the responsibility. And that responsibility probably helped you understand what you wanted to be. You just took from different aspects of what you saw in other individuals, and you just created that figure that would also be able to set the tone for them at the same time. Right?
That's correct. And I did it without thinking. I mean, at that time, I just did whatever I was supposed to do at that time, but I was not thinking that I was the father figure.
I got you.
But thinking, analyzing, and seeing what the father does for us, I was there exactly doing that, fulfilling that part of their life.
Yeah.
But not intentionally, not like, hey, I'm the here, and I'm going to do this. No, I'm just doing whatever. If I need to discipline, then discipline. If I need to talk, I talk. If I need to inspire them, I inspire them. And I did my best. I was a kid up to at that time. I was on my 20-something when that happened. I mean, I was not like a 30 or 40 years old. I was a younger guy taking a responsibility and an adult guy. And we did it. We survived. All of them are professional. Some of them have, 2 of them have studio.
Okay.
And all of them graduate from schools, and they do it greatly. I mean, was all the time that happened was good for them because they really grow in life.
Yeah, the thing is, one last question about martial arts now. I know one thing, it takes, what's the average time it takes for a person to become a black belt?
Well, the past average was probably 5 to 6 years when I started, and that will be changing through the time. It's now was like 3 years and something,
about
and
3
now
years.
there are like some scratch courses from 2 years.
Yeah.
You're already a black belt.
Yeah.
But what happened is the martial arts from the 80s is not the martial arts from the 2024.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
It's not the same thing.
No,
you can't do the
it's
things.
not. It's not.
Yeah, that my instructor did to me when I was younger. He would go to jail for that. You know?
No, if you do what you in the past, like we do it now,
Yeah.
they sue you. You
They
go
sue
to
you.
jail.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with teaching though too.
Yes,
Like even the
yes,
stuff that
yes.
teachers used to
Oh
get
my
away
gosh.
with,
Uh-huh.
like back then, like in 2000,
Oh, no.
or before 2000,
It's
you
a-
can't do that now.
A whole nother
No.
landscape.
Yeah.
A whole nother landscape, man. What lessons do you still use today? The position. Let's get into your present.
Yeah.
Like, you're heading to school. What things do you use that do you think that translated from martial arts to heading your school, or from having to teach and be that disciplinarian or that leader for your brothers and sisters? What do you think what skills do you still use today? Or do they translate at all?
Yeah, what would translate it? Number one, any business need to have discipline in whatever you do. If you don't have the discipline, there's no way to
Number
maintain
one,
it.
y'all. Number one.
Discipline. Exactly.
Number two, you need to have a good organizational skills. You need to organize everything in the way that everybody can follow. Number three, you need to have a good leader, because when you do a martial art, you need to be a leader, and the leader is the one who model. It's the one who everybody is proud to follow. It's someone who take care of people. Then, and at that time, we were able to looking for the students and see what needs they have. And exactly what we try to do at this time is the same, what needs people have. And then we need to help them in whatever area they need, recognizing their talents, their skills. And at the same time, the area that they're weak, because sometimes they're willing, but you need to be able to teach them. I mean, the desire to teach, I will say that I'm born as a teacher, and I love to teach. Meaning that when I got my teachers in school, I try to teach them to be better. I try to teach them to improve. I try to teach them to work with the student better. And having compassion at the same time, being honesty is important, because one of the things that we have is honesty in the heart. I think being honest with people all the time is very important.
Right.
I think that's that skill that was translated from my past. In addition, I would say the desire to find knowledge. Okay.
To seek.
To seek knowledge for the pleasure of enjoying knowledge, not just for because you want to do a career or because you need to.
You need something vain to make
exactly.
you feel better.
Yes, but for the pleasure, for the pleasure, yes.
So presently, like as far as being a educational leader, what are you doing now in terms of how you affect change now in the students, or how you're affecting now? What is your role now? And tell us really about your school, because you didn't talk about your school.
No,
Tell us about the school.
We get in there.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, this time my wife and I, we are taking care of as a manager now. We are working on leading the school in terms of anything that is related with funding and budgeting.
Okay.
Anything related, for example, we are doing some study in artificial intelligence.
Okay,
You know,
AI.
that is something that is coming, and it's something that's probably going to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For quite some time.
For quite some time. It's going to be like something that's been pushed by many areas.
Of course,
Because,
legislation.
yes, even
Politicians.
politician.
Yeah.
I got a survey from the state that asking me if we are doing artificial intelligence, if we are not doing it, why we're not doing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Meaning that is some interest in all area to get this artificial intelligence in the schools and be using as a tool. But we also take care of that in terms of leadership. Okay, what things coming new, let's analyze it, let's study it, because the artificial intelligence is definitely great, but doesn't have a soul.
True.
Mm.
To a certain
Right,
extent.
Yeah,
Exactly.
has to be guided.
It has to be guided.
To
Yeah.
be guided. And then we are working anything related with grants for the school, related with payroll, anything that is backstage, anything related with the school district. Everett Charter School at this time is a K through 8.
Okay.
It's been an A school
Okay. Very good.
for many years.
That's very good.
They've been working. It's been leading by a great professional. The principal of the school is Mrs. Reese, and she has other people that working around her.
Okay.
And so far, they're keeping the school in a good shape. They're doing algebra every year. They're doing geometry. The students are getting 5 on those tests.
Okay, great.
And the school is a small school, but with a heart.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
you need that.
Yes. Because it's not about the education only, but it's about how you treat each other, how you're working as a community.
Right.
And to build a strong community, you need to have a heart.
Correct.
And we try to have that really family environment, care about the students, advise them, helping them. At the same time that we're teaching them, we try to educate them, but we try to first encourage them, empower them, and then we educate them. And if we can go a little bit more, then we enlighten them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's very important. The school is being already is full.
Okay.
We have every single spot that's been taken in the school. We have a very high demand for every charter school.
Okay.
And we're happy for the staff that we have. The staff is working very hard year after year. The staff is basically the same for more than 10 years. And they're all working as a family, as a community, working together to be sure that the students learn at the same time that they enjoy what they're doing here at Everett Charter School.
I think that's what a lot of schools are missing, though.
Yeah.
The enjoying
Yeah.
the knowledge that we're acquiring. We're not quite grasping that. We're not getting that idea. And then sometimes we don't know that we're gaining knowledge to help one another sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not just here to just soak it up for ourselves.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's going to help somebody, and God is going to lead us to somebody to help.
Yes.
And you're going to need that knowledge to do it. So he puts you into places, and I hope he gets our children into places with good people that can guide them and show them the way. And I'm pretty sure Everest is the way is doing that very, very good. I want to talk about your next book. Let's talk about this new book. What title and I just want to be honest, why we need your next book?
Well, the next book the name is I Am Who I Am. It's also in Spanish, Yo Soy El Que Soy.
Yes, sir. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a bilingual
It's
book.
getting out there. He's mixing it up. I like it.
Yes.
Spicing it up.
And then it's multi-language, meaning that you have English and Spanish in the same book, meaning you can learn the
either
language.
way.
Yeah, you can learn from one to the other, and then they can share. Doesn't matter what language, meaning you read it. The book is, one morning I just wake up and I was talking about the first book that was the first characteristic of God, and we're talking about creativity. And I told you about that if you have something coming to you, some inspiration, to take a notebook and start writing. Either music coming to you, start writing, start singing, start doing it because God is giving it to you something.
Yeah.
See?
It's interesting you should talk about creativity. You know why? Because I was talking to one of my students the other day. He's like, man, I usually as a musician, I like to perform or take music from somebody else. But when I was younger, I used to write a lot of songs all the time. And then I got to a point where I just stopped. And then I didn't create in that manner anymore, like coming out of me. Now it's like it's harder now for some reason for me to decide, okay, I'm going to sit down and create something and then work on it, because it never just comes out just like that. It's something you have to continuously do, and then after a period of time, it starts to have a flow. But when you were talking about the Creator and God being taken out of schools, when you start seeing that people are doing things like, they're rapping or they're doing music or they're doing basketball or any of those other things that you see that come out of individuals, I realized that with God not being in the school system, like the heart of it,
Yes.
He's not. There's no object. There's no vehicle for creation. When you're creating, you don't have time to be upset. You know, you don't have
That's
time to
right.
hate people.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
you don't have time to do those because you're too busy trying to get out of you what you need to get out into the world. But if you have God there, you're connected to a Creator who allows you to work through and in Him and through you, so you can get out the things He wants to put inside of you. So He already put seeds inside, because this isn't just a seed. Because whatever we're looking at this building, but this is an idea in your head, really.
Right.
It just comes to pass. Whatever the seed God placed in your heart to have the passion to do it, it came out, and now we're seeing the revelation, the manifestation of it. But if you didn't decide to allow that to come through you, we wouldn't even be in this place right now. And that's one of the things that we have to eventually start to recognize, that whatever seed that God's growing is to continue watering. And I have to do that myself. That's to me, preaching to my own choir. But
Yes. What I encourage you, I think, is that potential that you have about writing is still there. What you need to do is open it and let it go. Start slowly. I call it my black books. I've been writing for like 40 years. Every time I have an idea, poem, I have my recording machines. I go hiding in the bathroom when I can't get a song, and I don't let my wife listen to me. And then I start singing very quiet in the bathroom. It's a new song.
now you know. Now you know.
Why you do it in the bathroom? Hey, you there to go.
Come on.
Who you speaking of? But it's there, and that's why I want to encourage. I want to encourage all of you to get all those ideas that come into your head, even they're small. Write it down, or put your notes. Right now, you don't have a book. You have your notes and your phone. You put a note, and I have like a lot of notes in my phone. Every time something coming, and it's not necessary to be about music.
That's true.
The rule could be open to the universe. It's whatever that God bring it to you. Is you don't tie to the music. You have too many things. That, for example, I know you're developing a program right now, but it's not related with music. You're making a software.
Correct.
You want to tell us something about that software?
Yeah. So our audience
talking about music.
I'm starting to need a refresh. We need a refresh on what's going on, man.
So with the software right now, we're in this situation where it took us a while to get everything together, and so now we're just basically going to go ahead.
I'm making the shot.
I'm
making a shot. You're floating away.
I'm floating away.
I'm making the shot.
Stay
here.
So what happens is, we submitted basically what is called a pitch deck. Anytime you're deciding to put together any type of business, a pitch deck basically is like a PowerPoint presentation about where your business is at, what you've done thus far, and where you want to go. So, and then it also goes into financials of aspects. So when an individual is an investor or an angel investor wants to take a look at your business, they can see what your progress is and why they should pursue next level.
Look, guys, we know the devil is mad right now.
Yeah, of course.
Because we are breaking through today, man.
Yeah.
Whenever things are coming our way, we are staying disciplined and staying in it. And we're going to honor this podcast by keep going. We've had lights.
Exactly.
We got here a little later than usual.
Yeah.
We set up things. I've forgotten things that I've never forgotten.
Exactly.
Microphones have turned off.
Yeah.
Lights are in disarray. Memories failing. My camera just told me that the camera ran out of time. There's a time limit on my camera. Never in the history of D&D Level Up podcast or Next Level Nation has this ever happened.
Exactly.
So we know we're doing something good here. We're pushing through, and we're going to make it happen. For the Lord's sake, we're going to get through, and we're going to finish talking about the pitch deck for
Pivot. So I have a company, a software, what is called Pivot. It's a software solution that has to relate to the automotive industry. I'm not going to get too deep into it.
No, I can't give it away now. Sorry, you missed it.
Not today, but next.
We can't go catch us later.
Exactly. So we have it, and we have to protect that via proprietary information. So I've created a pitch deck, which is basically how investors understand what your business is about. They want to see your past progress and the things you've done now, presently, what you plan on doing in the future, how much money did you need for your business, how they're going to evaluate your business, and what is in it for them, of course, right?
Yes, yes.
So those aspects have been submitted to a company called Techstars. Techstars is what is called an accelerated program. Accelerated program is a company that takes your idea and they evaluate your idea and they see, okay, well, is this a relevant idea that can produce some money? Can we provide some support to you, give you an understanding? Because they do this based on other ideas and other companies that they support. And so what they'll do is they'll evaluate the information that you give them. You have to submit an application to them. They'll review it, and after that, they'll decide whether they want to invest in, take a portion of equity out of your business, and then also get you in front of other individuals, investors who will start to invest in your business. And then, of course, get you to the point where you can start promoting it and you have a viable business.
Right.
So right now, we're in the process of that application being reviewed. And that's not going to be reviewed. Well, actually, it's being reviewed now because all their reviews there are November. But I submitted this like 2 months ago. But it took 2 years to get to the point we got all the information that they want, because they have a certain amount of things in the application, and they actually, you have to put all this information together in a succinct period, videos, everything has to be very succinct. So getting everything together for them, we are hopefully prayerfully that we'll get an investment opportunity with them, and also be able to tap onto the resources. We'll get the actual app into individuals' hands. We did a presentation at a university just recently that one of my business partners and then individuals were asking for the app. They wanted it right now. I was like, it's great for right now. So there is a demand for it. So the demand is there. I know that God placed the idea in my mind, and I decided to, it wasn't something that I had any experience in, but I found individuals to execute the idea that I had in my heart and my mindset, and I know exactly what I want it to look like and how God has given it to me. And I know it's a God idea because I asked God for an idea. I was like, okay, God, I want an idea that, because there's only certain ways of becoming wealthy.
Yes.
You're going to invent something, or you're going to receive an inheritance, or you're going to create it by either happenstance or by luck, or you're going to get into real estate. Whatever the case may be, there's only a certain amount of ways. And majority of times, the people, when they're trying to do something where they want to get wealthy, and it's not wealthy just to be wealthy, it's wealthy to help other individuals, and to be able to use the resources that we have to help other individuals, not just so I could buy Ferraris and things like that. That is a good thing.
I mean, that's my reason.
That's my
reason. For the society.
Yes, good.
But it's good because what I understand from all your conversation is that creativity is on you. That when you initiate all this, the inspiration of God gave you that idea, meaning that you can have a lot of more creation. You're going to have more ideas, and you're going to continue growing and being successful in many areas.
We tell the podcast, we tell our podcast audience all the time that if you're not creating, that's why you don't feel so good.
Yeah.
That's why you're feeling so down. You're not moving. You're not doing. Let me start saying, if God created you, He first created. His first thing was to create.
Exactly.
Create. That was the first characteristic.
First, create first.
Create.
Worry about all the other stuff after you start creating, but you won't have nothing. You won't have much to worry about because you're creating.
Correct.
You're moving. You're making something happen. Like the podcast, we sat down and talked about the podcast, and it was like, okay, now it's time to do it.
Exactly.
All right. Let's say, look. It's like, look, man, we doing real good. We recording. We getting it done.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I want to create a trailer. Oh, we gotta go We gotta go video now. We want to go YouTube now. At first we were just doing, audio, which was great. We had a good audience. We had about 70, 80 subscribers, and then we started going visual. But it had to come out of some type of creative spirit. Like I said, look, whatever we gotta do, let's do it. We turned the cameras on, put the cameras up, found some lights. God started providing things for us to do, and providing great people like you to interview today. And it's just like, sometimes it just blows my mind that we get to sit down and record ourselves talking about what we want to talk about.
Correct.
We can talk about God and not feel ashamed to talk about God because it's ours and because God gave it to us to create.
Yeah.
And Papa gave it for us to talk about Him.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To save somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Besides ourselves.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
And I'm loving this podcast. I'm loving. It's a lot going through a lot right now. But the podcast is here, man. And Dirk, got anything else, Doc?
Yeah. So you know, man, that was great, D. It always gives me like kind of like goosebumps thinking about the first time we started.
Yes,
and doing
yes.
it, and just we started, we initially was like, we first started, we were like, man, we should start documenting this, and we've just never quit since the time we started. We have just continued going and going and going and getting better and better at getting better guests. I'm not saying we didn't have great guests in the beginning,
No.
but we've always had somebody who was compelling, somebody that was interesting, somebody who has 2 doctorates, and what an amazing human being to be able to be honored to be able to be in your presence. And for us to be on the podcast, I literally I'm overwhelmed with the fact that humble that you come actually to be on the podcast and share your vision, share your heart, share your understanding of what you're doing, things that God is doing in your life, things that God is doing in your wife's life, and also the potential that you have as well. So the last thing I wanted to say is that, what do you think would you like to be your legacy in this life?
Well, I think my legacy is to know that I help a lot of people, that I serve, that I born and serve others, and that I was able to reach the level of love that God wants for each one of us through Jesus.
Yeah.
And that would be the great thing for me if I can hear that at the end, because remember, we don't want treasures on earth. Even if God gave me a lot of treasures from God,
Yes, I know.
but not because I was searching for them. God was marvelous to do that.
Yeah.
And I cannot complain about what God gave me on earth, but I really want my treasure. I want to make my deposit on heaven to be sure that I conquer that moment of being in front of the throne, in front of the Lord, and be able to be, worshiping Him over there in heaven. I mean, that's my major desire.
Okay.
That's what I really wanted. I mean, I'm not worried about titles. There are nothing. It's like Paul said. I mean, that he took all his titles and everything was garbage for him, just for the point of knowing Jesus and live Jesus' life. And I think this is why we need to be looking at it. It's not when you're looking to get treasures on earth, it's when you're not getting it.
Yeah, I got you.
And you get it when you put treasures on heaven, and then God say, hey, here, this is for you. He treats you.
Yeah.
You see?
It's a lot of work to go through that. I just want to honor you. I know you're humble, and you know you don't like to talk about those things, but the thing is, I know how hard it is. Daryl, we know as being educators how, I remember when I did my master's before I started, and you were telling me, hey, keep going. It was, I didn't want to see school ever again. If I had to continue to go on to my doctorate, I'd have been like, no, I can't do it. And you've done, that should be honored, just, even though I know that is something that you don't put out and put into the universe that often, but it is something is due honor for that.
But something that I can tell about it is, to do my bachelor took me 8 years.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 4.
Yeah.
Took me 8 years, one persistent.
Yeah.
And to becoming a doctor took me 11 years.
Wow.
Supposed to be around 5.
Yeah.
Meaning that what is that I'm saying this is not about just whatever dream that you have, whatever desire that you have in life will take time, will take a lot of effort, will take a lot of try.
Yeah.
I remember like when I was student sleeping and have, I don't know, maybe more than 15 crash because I was sleeping, working, studying, doing too many things, doing martial arts. And the important thing is in life is to continue. You can never stop. Whatever that you dream, you do it because God is the creator.
Yeah.
And then the root of anything that we do is called creativity. From there that will come everything we have today. Even go to the moon was creativity, how to do it all everything now.
Yeah.
Medicine is being about creativity. Everything is being because God inspired us.
Right.
And we need to do it.
Yeah.
And then we go back to that roots that is very important because when each one of us, our own young people, sometimes they quit when they see some obstacle.
Of course, yeah.
And everything like is happening, like to do this podcast has been a process that has been growing and going through different trials and buying stuff and how we're going to do this and we're going to learn how to use all the instruments to be sure he's communicating properly. Meaning everything takes time. Then what the message here is if any person that is interested in growing and have a dream is to be passionate, to have the discipline and to be persistent.
Yeah.
To be sure they can achieve whatever they want. And that's clue for everyone in life. Then that's something that we need to transmit also to the younger. We are educator, you are an educator. Then we need to transmit that to our students that they need to be persistent, that to explode their potential, to find the maximum, and more importantly, to find God in their life, because this is what will make really the big difference between them achieve or not achieving, because God is the one who gives you everything.
That's true. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God.
And
all these things
will be added,
unto you, including the Next Level Nation podcast. You're going to try that again. I don't know where are you, bro?
You know what? I'm
searching for you.
I'm
looking for you.
I'm so used to.
Where are you?
We've done this Next Level podcast deeper so long.
We've done
I had to get
D&D
this
for
out of
like
my
2
mouth.
years.
It's hard
Hey
to get to go.
We're letting you know that it takes, we're taking levels, we're taking steps, and we want to document these steps, man.
Yeah.
Right here on the Next Level Nation podcast.
One more time.
It's a podcast.
Let's go again.
All right, guys. It is the Next Level Nation, but it's the Next Level Nation podcast.
Exactly.
So we're gonna run it back for y'all right here on the Next Level Nation podcast. And if you don't know, now you know. That's right, guys. Thank you, Doc. Thank you. Man, this was an awesome interview. Let's do it. Before something else.